Greetings from the John Show Inc. And I'm going to give you a tutorial on my audio equipment and what I'm using. I haven't done this video yet, so I figured it's well past overdue. So I'm going to start from the right and work my way to the left from the simplest and work to the most complicated. And what we have here is my Sony HDMI DVD player, which I use for CDs. It's nothing spectacular, but it's silver, and I like silver, as you can see with the rest of the system, so it matches, and it does sound pretty good. Okay, let's start now. If I'm going to run, let's say, music, not via CD or record, it's through my phone, through YouTube. So I have this right there. I got my AUDIOENGINE B1, which is for Bluetooth, so I can run my phone audio into my AUDIOENGINE B1, and that goes directly into my receiver. Now, if I'm going to do records, that's a different story. Records, I'm going to go into my turntable, which I'll get into in a minute, but the turntable is going to go into the preamp, which is this guy right here, the YAQIN. I think that's how you pronounce it. MS223B RIAA, whatever that means. RIAA. And it's a tube phono preamp. And honestly, when I purchased this, I didn't know anything about phono preamps. I still don't know a lot. I have a lot to learn with those. But it looks nice. It's tube powered, and it sounds pretty good too. There I am. So it's all right. It works. You see it's lit up. I just turned it on, so the tubes are warming up. And that goes into my my Pioneer SG 9500 10 band times 220 band EQ, and that runs into the receiver. The turntable I'm using is an Audio-Technica LP120. I guess it's one of the best turntables that's cheap, for a cheap starter turntable. I have an Ion, I have a different Ion, I have a couple turntables, a few I gave away, all like cheap turntables. This one, I got it because when I first got a turntable getting into records, well, back into records, I'd say about 10 years ago, I remember my father had a Technics turntable, but I forgot it was called a Technics. I recognize the name Technica, I guess from Techniques. So it looked just like the turntable he had back in the 70s when I was a little kid. So I thought this was as close to it as possible, or it itself, like as far as like a newer model. And it so I purchased it, and I think I got it for like $250 or $280 or something. Now it's like $400, or just under $400. And it's a beginner turntable. I mean, it teaches you everything about the replacing cartridges and, DJing stuff. The tone arm with balancing and the azimuth and all that good stuff. So it taught me a lot, and I'm definitely well overdue and very, very, very ready for a good turntable, which I'm going to save up for. I'm not going to get I wanted to get the RT85 Fluence for an analog hi-fi audio record player turntable. But if I'm going to throw $500 into a turntable that I'm not going to be happy with in the long run for life, I want to do it right the first time. Well, the second time. So I'm going to save up for maybe the Technics 1200G or GR. I'm still looking around at other turntables for ideas. I need something that's really solid. I want something that's heavy, crystal clear sound, good HD quality or high def quality. Something that is good with bumps and like footsteps, because I am in a wood house now instead of a concrete floor, so this floor has a lot of give to it. And you might notice when I walk, you hear a little couple squeaks here or there on the floor. So before, in my other house or other place I was living, I had a concrete floor. I was on the ground. This is the second story. So that one was solid, so I didn't worry. I do have this this record cabinet I built, which is pretty solid. I mean, it's It's solid. It's anchored to the wall. I anchored it to the studs behind the wall at like 5 points, so it's not going anywhere. But the floor, when I walk, I can, you know, I could sometimes hear a pop in the record. Actually, I had this originally on this wall, and I took it off because I was getting that too much with the skipping with the footsteps. I noticed over here it's a lot better. Plus, I like the layout of it on this side of the room. So I got my turntable. I got the obviously, if you watch my channel, you definitely know this. The Nagaoka MP200 cartridge, which I'm very happy with. It's very mid-rangey, which I'm not too crazy about, but the sound is pristine. It's really good. I wish it would focus a little better. Before that, I was using my Shure M97XE, which I was actually, it was perfect, but they stopped making them. So I bought a few, put them away, and I got it as a backup. I have a feeling they're going to make those again in the future. Give another 15, 20 years, they'll come out with them again, and more improved. So I have my turntable. Okay, it goes into the phono preamp, into the EQ, and then into the receiver. Now here's where it gets juicy. Pioneer model SX1250. It's one of the best. I think it's 1976. Actually, it's the same age as me. So this is one of the best receivers Pioneer ever made. I think they did the 1980 is considered a little more powerful, has an extra channel or something. People say that's the top of the line, but this is dynamite. This is nice, and it's all original. Everything's original on it. I bought it on online. I forgot eBay or somewhere, and I think I paid like just over $2,000. And now it's actually no, I paid over $1,200. It was just over $1,200, and that was like about 7 years ago, between 5 and 8 years ago. And now it's worth a lot more. So if you look it up, and it's in mint condition, you know, it's perfect, plays perfect, everything. Knock on wood. So I got that running into well, speakers I change out a lot, but right now I'm using the Pioneer. Well, I'm sorry, the CERWIN VEGA AT12s. I'm not taking the cover off, but they are, trust me. The AT12s. And I also have in the back here, facing up, because I'll explain in a second here, but I have the Technics speakers. I don't know which model they are, but they're Technics, I guess mid-80s Technics. And they're much, much louder and boomier than the AT12s. So I actually have to put them facing up so they don't make me go deaf, just to hear the AT12s over them. Here's the other one over here. And actually up, it fills the room. It sounds very, very good. I like it. Other than those, I have other speakers. I have down here, what are these? The Pioneer CS703s, which are monsters. They're beasts. I don't like them. Maybe they're old and they don't sound good anymore, but very boomy, very bassy. I don't hear much highs in them, even though they have all these tweeters and horns in there. I'm not too crazy about them. They're just there to hold the other speakers up. I also have down here, people have heard of Boston acoustics. These are American acoustics. I actually replaced one of the tweeters with a cheap tweeter, and it sounded good, but then that cheap tweeter blew. So now they're used as speaker stands as well to hold up the CERWIN Vegas. Of course, my record collection, this is not all of them. I have more in these holders right here. I have like 5 more holders filled with records. I just haven't gotten to putting them all away yet in the cabinet here, which is actually pretty full. So that's the whole stereo. Now, I'm looking into a turntable that's I mean, of course, great sound, shock absorbing very well on that. I don't care about easy setup or nothing. I actually prefer a challenge. I like a good time in setting it up. I want something that looks really nice and classy. This looks like a DJ turntable, so if I get the Technics, it will as well. But it's good for, it's all around what I need. The 1200G, which is $4,000, which by the time I can get it, it's probably going to be 5 or 6 or 7 grand. Who knows? So we'll see what happens. But I'm thinking the GR. But if I'm going to spend 2 grand, and it's going to be once, I'm going to buy this for life. That's my plan. And a 1200G should last for life. It's got 2 motors. It's very powerful. Techniques are known for lasting for 30, 40 years plus. If it lasts that long, it'll outlive me. I don't want to waste money on another turntable that I won't be happy with and that I'll end up upgrading in the future anyways. I'd rather just stick with this guy. It does it serves its purpose, does the job for now until I could save up to get like the 1200G or GR. We'll see what happens with that. I'm going to probably try to get the G, but if I see an opportunity to get a GR before then, I'm not that patient, so I might jump on the GR. So if anybody could leave a comment and let me know what you think about the GR versus the G, if it's worth more than double the price. And that would be my audio setup. I'm going to upgrade the PHONO preamp as well. This is good, but I'm sure there's a lot better out there. And I need some advice on that as well. I know it probably depends on what turntable you use. As far as the cartridge goes, any ideas on a cartridge that gives you that... I want that hair on it, I guess you could say, with the very high-end frequencies and very deep bass. I mean, I listen to classic rock and oldies and stuff, too. I listen to 80s pop. But I like Kraftwerk. I like not techno music, but like, I guess music that's computerized music, digital music. So I like a lot of thump and bass and deep rhythm. I also listen to a lot of Floyd, as you know, by watching my channels. A lot of 70s rock. I like everything, pretty much everything, except for today's music because there is none. So, so much for that. So that's it. You know, I mean, if I ever have to upgrade my receiver, because if something ever happens to this or I sell it or something, which I don't see happening anytime soon, I would get new. Turntable, I'm definitely getting new. EQs they don't make anymore really, unless they give you like a really high-end EQ that's worth a lot of money. It's probably not analog, it's probably digital, so I probably wouldn't upgrade that. I have about 5 of those put away, so I got enough EQs to last me a lifetime. So any ideas on a preamp or turntables, I'm all ears, let me know. And this is it, it's the setup. So I know a lot of people were asking about that. You know, what am I running? What am I playing through and this and that? So that's it. All right. And then I'll give you some updates if anything changes. And I'll see you in the next video.